In this entire year of Sisterhood Sundays, we will be meeting women of faith, women who are living the dream, the God calling in their lives. Last time we met Michelle Bowman, who owns her own bakery, and she spends her time blessing others with delicious treats. This time, it is my honor and pleasure to sit with my friend Regan. Regan and I have come to know each other through our homeschooling adventures, and she is just one of those women that you're drawn to. You know, you're engaging and brilliant, creative, and she's always surrounded by her precious little ones. So Regan, you have such a creative flair, such a talent. And even as I look around your lovely home, there's evidence of that. And you've taken and used this creative talent to illustrate a book. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened for you?
Sure. After I had my third child, I had some postpartum, and about 8 months after that, I finally felt like my head was above water, and I needed some creative outlet to express for my soul.
Yeah.
So it was a Friday evening. I looked up on my bucket list that I wanted to illustrate a children's book.
Yeah.
So that was my mind was set. Okay, that's my next goal. I love goals.
Yeah.
On the Sunday evening, I got a random call. This is 2 days later from the author of this current children's book.
Mm-hmm.
And she had been recommended to me to illustrate her children's book from a friend from high school. So many years prior.
Yeah.
So we met on the next day on the Monday, and we went forward on what began to be another project we had started, which is very different. This is one of the concept drawings we had done.
Okay.
And it ended up turning into a totally different project about hockey legend Bobby Orr.
Okay.
We had opportunity through him. He gave us 2 newbies an opportunity, and then we sat down with Penguin Publishing, who's now Random House as well.
Wow. Yeah.
It's the largest publisher in North America, and
Wow.
went about making this,
Right.
which came out in fall of 2014.
Okay. Yeah. Look at these. They're lovely. Like, look at it. It's just lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely.
yeah.
Yeah. And you did this.
Yeah,
You did this.
I don't know how I had the time, but
You
looking
did
back.
this. It's beautiful and incredible. And, you know, because I know you, Regan, I know that most days you're not sitting around sketching and illustrating. You are a stay-at-home homeschooling mom of 5 precious children, 1 on the way. So can you share with us how, you know, being at home and that calling on your life meshes with your creative talents? Can you share with us a little bit about what that looks like?
Sure. I'd first like to start with, I've always had a passion for fine art, expressing myself in the creative realm.
Sure.
Now, when I considered having a large family and homeschooling, those 2 things seem to be in conflict with pursuing my own dreams of fine art and such. So that, if anything, if I look back, that had been a challenge, a tug of war, and those bad days, which are rough, and you're like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this?
Right.
But through this project, God was so gracious and kind to show me that He knows the desires of my heart. And sometimes He asks us to patiently wait on Him. And sometimes He says He'll change that desire. But if He allows you, like, for example, this came about. When I started the idea of doing a children's book, it was just to give my children eventually someday.
Right.
I had no expectation that it would be with the largest publisher and with hockey legend Bobby Orr. I mean, I had no clue that was going to happen. So God was so kind to say, here you go.
Yeah.
Without me having much.
Right.
I mean, it was a lot of work, but really,
Sure.
He's the one who brought it about. And that being said, it gave me peace to say I need to be present in my home with my family as a priority with homeschooling, and it kind of allowed me to just calm down and say, Lord, you're in charge.
Right.
Someday, if you allow that to come to fruition, you will allow it, but I don't need to worry about that. I can give it to God and say His plan is always the best.
Right.
I could pursue it for the entirety of my life and not ever have this happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this was a very, very, very generous, kind way for Him to teach that lesson to me. So since this, I've been I don't have that yearning or that
Sure,
battle,
the tug,
that internal
right.
tug of war.
Yes.
Rather, so.
Yeah.
So, but in a homeschool environment, anyone who homeschools knows, or has children, there's so many opportunities to be creative
Right.
in how you're schooling, in decorating and seasonal things and all those sorts of things. It kind of, if you have a creative mind, it's so much more exciting, and give the children opportunity to express themselves and get dirty and things like that, which are awesome. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but for myself, it's in terms, I don't have time to do these kind of projects right now.
Right.
But little things on the side, just for my own creative relief, like little projects we can do, photo albums or things of that nature. That's more the capacity that.
So you're still able to use those gifting and talents.
Sure,
in the everyday.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Regan, for sharing. I just hope that women realize, in the everyday, they're given those unique giftings and talents, and they can be used. And in God's timing, He will use them for His glory. Because when He gives them to us, they're irrevocable. They can't be taken away. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, Regan.